Hello, 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 YouTube. How are you guys doing today? I hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to Real Talk Therapy 101. I want to thank those of you who recognized that I was MIA last week after doing the first video of the week. I had gotten sick. It's that time of the year. I'm still not 100%. Had some back pain, had some stuff going on, and just was not in the filming and conversating mood. But your girl is back. And for those of you that are new, this is Real Talk Therapy 101 with your girl, Ebony Campbell. I am a certified alcohol and drug counselor in the state of North Carolina. I am also a certified peer support specialist in the state of North Carolina, as well as a master level qualified professional in the state of North Carolina. And I'm currently working on my master's in social work so that I can become a licensed clinical social worker in the state of North Carolina. Behavioral, mental health, addiction, all of those things are a passion of mine. And it's something that I love to do. And in order to find out my journey from one job to the other and to learn how I ended up here, I want to invite you to go back on the channel and follow me from day one up until the current day. Here on Real Talk Therapy, instead of talking about mental health and making the stigma be what it is today, we just simply have conversations about what each and every one of us may encounter at some point in life. Everybody has their journey. And sometimes, or not sometimes, there will be times where you'll get to parts of your journey that you've never been before, and you don't know how to get from one place to the other. And, you know, you need to talk to someone about it. And that's what this channel was created for. Sometimes we get out there in those uncharted waters and we don't know who to ask to help us to try to get to where we want to go. Sometimes we don't even know which way we want to go. And so I use music, cartoons, movies, real life experiences without the mentioning of anyone's name. So nobody that's listening or coming on the channel that may feel like some of my conversations are about them or directed to them can go out here talking about I'm defaming their character and all that good stuff. I'm simply talking about my experiences in uncharted waters from time to time. We do speak from the intervention or strategy or coping mechanisms from the standpoints of higher powers. I do know that everybody does not have the same spiritual beliefs. And so I respect those things. But if I ever use an intervention that relates to a higher power, I am a Christian, and I believe Christian beliefs for the most part. We'll talk about some of those things sometimes where it gets to where I'm a little sticky with what's preached and what's taught, and then who it's preached and taught by. But hey, it's real. We have real life conversations in reference to those things. And so currently, I've shared with my consistent viewers that our house we're doing some renovating, doing some things different. And so my normal little corner is being reconstructed, and we will get back there as soon as possible. Here on the channel, I also feature a custom-made t-shirt of the day, and it's usually in tune to whatever it is we're talking about. And I have a Coach bag and or accessory, as well as kicks of the day, you know, tennis shoes or whatever I've worn to go with what I'm talking about for today. And so it's just a neat little thing that I like to do, to share some things about me. And we have had our first giveaway. We had a viewer, a subscriber actually, that ordered a custom made t-shirt, was the first one, and received a gift. So there will be giveaways. That was the November giveaway. And so in order to be in the pool for the December giveaway, we need for you to comment, like, subscribe, share, order a t-shirt, anything. And I also try to feature other entrepreneurs on Fridays, which is something I have recently started to do. And so last week we missed all of that good stuff because I was only able to come on Monday. And there will be some revamps and some changes as my schedule and different things are are changing, but I also try to share some shorts and self-care nuggets throughout the week and the weekend as well. So before we get into where we're going for today, or where we're going to be for this week, I want to share with you guys the custom-made shirt of the day. And I don't know if you can see this well with how I'm sitting and what I have going on, but it says fear. And the acronym for fear that we're going to talk about this week stands for face everything and recover. Real Talk Therapy 101 here on the side. So a lot of times when you talk about fear, you know, people, especially a lot of those that are overly religious, in my opinion, tend to say, oh, well, the Lord didn't give us a spirit of fear. No, he didn't give it to you, but he gave you the emotion of fear. And there are some things that we fear in this lifetime. And you can have all the faith that you want to have, you still will experience some moments of fear. And so if you take that derogatory definition of fear and start looking at it in a positive way where you're going to face everything and recover, because recovery is just not for addictions. It's just not for substance. Recovery happens in mental health as well. And a lot of people miss that because they don't tend to themselves in that way to take care of their mental health journey. So our Coach bag for the day that we're carrying is one that you guys have seen before. It's the black tote that goes with the luggage carrier that I use when I travel. And you've also seen my shoes, black Vapor Max, all black. And so those are our accessories for the day. And I'm not sure if I've ever talked about my little Coach case that my AirPods are in, but that's another neat little accessory. It's Christmas time, so if you know anybody who has the same addiction to Coach as me, those are some nice little trinkets and things to get for your loved one. So this week, we're going to look at different ways of how we can face everything and recover. Early on, when I started the channel, I was dealing with some fears of my own. And a lot of times when you're dealing with fear, it's so easy to keep you from moving from one place to the next because you're afraid to go from something you've always known to something that you don't know anything about. So fear of the unknown is something each and every one of us have experienced in our lifetime. And this channel is geared towards adults. You have these stages of adulthood where you're in early adulthood, middle adulthood, and what I call the golden years, but it's late adulthood. And there's a segment, I can't remember what week or what month, but if you go back through the videos where I broke all of those down, I think it was somewhere in October, but just letting you know the age and the different things that you go through when you're in these different phases. And so being in a place of having experienced fear, even if you're in, late adulthood, and I hear a lot of people say, oh, well, I don't have any fears, I'm not afraid of anything, but then you turn around and something happens and they go, oh, Lord, that scared me to death. Well, how can something scare you to death and you're still living, but you don't have any fear? So, all of that stuff is bogus when you listen to it and you listen to people explain themselves and you listen to people come at you or try to come at you from places that they don't acknowledge that they've experienced themselves. I have a fear of not, or had a fear of not knowing what would happen with this YouTube channel. And I had a fear of putting it off because I didn't know what people were going to say, what people were going to think, if people were going to try to, run down my past and do all that stuff. And I got over that fear by doing it myself because nobody out here can tell my story better than I can. Now, I got over that fear, but does that mean I don't have any new fears? No, I have fears. We all do. And there's a Bible verse that says, cast your cares upon, the Lord. And I look at that verse just as a coping mechanism for me to say, when I experience those different versions of fears, depending on where I am in life, I can go to my higher power and cast that care. I can go to them, because when we go to other people, man, other people will take your fear and use it to cripple you. They will take your fear and use it to keep you where you are because they really don't want to see you make it to where you're trying to get to. That's why it's so important that you choose your support network, that you choose your cheerleaders carefully. Now, there's one thing that I think I failed to mention when it comes to a cheerleader. And that's a cheerleader is going to cheer you on, but they're not always going to cheer you on the way that you want to be cheered on. Some people have the fear of fixing anything that's wrong with them because now they can no longer be a victim. Now, I'm going to rewind that and say it another way. Some people don't want to recover because in their state of recovery, they're playing the victim and they're getting attention in ways that is unhealthy. They're putting themselves out here in ways that is not beneficial to somebody that's helping you. And we talked about those people being enablers. You're manipulating the cheerleading process. Oh, I know that if I keep going down Sesame Street, that Big Bird is going to want to fight. Now, I can go down Mulberry Lane and get where I'm trying to go, but I want to go down Sesame Street. Well, if there's another way for you to get where you're trying to go, but you want to keep going down Sesame Street so Big Bird can keep trying to jump on you, so you can keep hollering out the people that you need help, after a while, your cheerleaders are going to tell you, why haven't you tried Mulberry Lane? Now you're mad with the cheerleader because they won't come and save you, but not realizing that the cheerleader is doing exactly what you need them to do. There are times where we don't know how to receive constructive criticism. You have a fear of doing something wrong, but if you never do it wrong, how will you get it right? Hence the old cliche, practice makes perfect. You will never get it if you try it up to the point of not knowing what to do when you get stuck. Now somebody has to come in, get you from being stuck, and finish the thing that you won't learn how to do. And then when you're uncovered, you're mad at the individual that keeps saving you because you wanted it to appear as though you knew what you were doing. The fear of being embarrassed. You're going to be embarrassed one way or another in some form of fashion. Everybody experiences. I don't know an individual walking this earth who has never had an embarrassing moment before. You walking sometimes and you just trip over nothing. And you look around and see who saw you. And now you're embarrassed because some people may laugh. Some people may, oh, are you okay? It's embarrassing. And that's on the mild end of embarrassment. Some levels of embarrassment can be as high as you falling all the way down on the ground and not knowing how to regroup and pick yourself back up. Well, if you never take the time to try to learn the lesson, how do you expect to get over the fear of knowing what's on the other side? Now, fear, the acronym that I'm looking at this week, is facing everything and recover. Can also be looked at forget everything and relapse. So just like a drug addict can relapse and go back to using drugs after they've been clean for so long, an individual who suffers with their mental health can also relapse. You're going to therapy. You're talking to your therapist. You're calling on your support network. You're using a crisis hotline. You're doing everything in your crisis plan. And then, bam, something hits you that you were not prepared for. That's not written on your PCP. It's not in your treatment plan. Now I'm facing something that me and my therapist have not conversed about. What do I do? And 9 times out of 10, you end up relapsing back into the behaviors that you were involved in prior to you doing the work to get away from that thing. Now, Fear in its original sense, the definition of fear is being afraid of, being scared, not knowing what's on the other side of something, so staying stagnant. And on a personal note, I do not fear another man or woman that walks this earth. I'm not scared of another human being. But if you put a cat outside my door, it could be a kitten. Your girl is afraid. I had a bad experience as a child with cats and kittens, and the cat and kitten may not care about me now. But because I had that fear from the bad experience when I was a child, it has carried over with me to middle adulthood. I am terrified of cats. Terrified. But a rumble with a woman 10 times my size. A man too if I have to. I'm not afraid. But I have that fear. And I can admit that I have that fear. I don't mind telling whoever I ain't going because they got a cat. I ain't doing it because the kitten on my porch and won't leave. I don't mind talking about that. Now, there are some human beings out here in this world that I probably should have some fear, going up against, but I don't. Being able to recognize your fears, and so throughout this week, as we're going through this thing of facing everything and recovering, I now know I need to start tapping back into those childhood fears, those early adulthood fears that have followed me to middle adulthood, and decide if I'm going to recover or continue to relapse. Kittens are not extinct. Cats are not extinct. They're here to stay. They're not going anywhere. So I have to learn to coexist in the line of work that I do. If I'm in the field and I have to go see a client that has cats, I have to put on what we say out here in the world, my big girl panties, and go and do this service. I cannot allow that fear to interfere with the work I need to do for someone else. Fear interferes with your progress. So you have to learn how to face everything that has you stuck and begin to recover. It's not going to happen overnight. Now, you can forget about everything and you can relapse, or you can run and try not to deal with it. But what's going to happen when it comes again? That old cliche, you can run, but you can't hide. That's true in some instances. Eventually, you have to face the music, as they say. So why not begin now? And why not begin here? And let's have a conversation this week about what our fears are and how they keep us stagnant and stuck in our uncharted waters at places that we don't even see a way around, and stop playing the victim and stand up and advocate for yourself. Because if you aren't going to be out here helping yourself, stop expecting anybody else to help you. If you're not helping yourself, you don't even know what kind of help to go out here and get. So, appreciate you guys stopping by. Again, I do feel a whole lot better. My intention is to be here every day this week so that we can have this conversation of what it looks like to face everything and begin to recover. If we never take the necessary steps to do what we need to do to move forward, then you're going to stay stuck, and you shouldn't expect anything other than what you're stuck in to be what's going on around you. And stop blaming others for where you are. Because if you want to move, get up and move. Thank you guys for stopping by, and I'll see you tomorrow.